This is Professor Tracy Dean coming to you live from Army Apostolic Radio Ministries International. And today we're going to do the ESOL class. We're going to do 5 new vocabulary words. So we're going to do obscure, we're going to do salvage, we're going to do cherish, and we have some others. So again, this is Professor Tracy Dean with ESOL, English for Speakers of Other Languages, and welcome to the show. Thank you. So today we are going to start with 5 new vocabulary words. The first word is cherish. Again, the word is cherish. The next word is flexible. Please say flexible.
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 Then we have the word obscure.
Obscure.
Again, obscure.
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 Now let's go with the next word, retain.
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 Then the last word we have is salvage.
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 Very good. So we have 5 new vocabulary words: cherish, flexible, obscure, retain, and salvage. So let's look at the word cherish. What does cherish mean? Cherish. When you feel love. Yes? Cherish is something that you may want to keep also. So I cherish the memories of my families, right? Something you want to keep in your head. I cherish the love of my husband, correct? Right? Memories, something of value.
I can cherish my dream too.
I can cherish my dream. I can love my dreams, right? Because a dream is something that you're working towards to get into a vision plan, to get into a goal, and to move it further, right? Into something that you see accomplished. You can also cherish jewelry. You can cherish books because they possess something of value. So, for example, in many shows, you can see when people have something of value. Sometimes the house is of value. Sometimes it's an earring. Sometimes it's a necklace. Sometimes it's a watch. But they like to cherish those memories because they are of value. That means it's something you want to keep on and on and on. Sometimes it's an old car. Now, in America, when you have certain cars, when they get older, they are worth a lot of money, right?
Yes. I saw it.
Right. So when you see, sometimes you see these older cars, they are worth a lot of money. Sometimes you see the necklaces and the jewelries, they are worth so much money. And sometimes even the old coins and the old dollar bills are worth a lot of money. So many people cherish or keep because it's of value. Also, if you saw those shows, they talk about people treasuring things that they find under the sea, right? If you see those movies, that's what you see. People are saying that we treasure or value these things because they're no longer being made. next word, flexible. Now let's look at obscure. What is obscure?
Like a tragedy.
Could be. So obscure means not known to many people. Not known to many people. Sometimes it is difficult to understand, and sometimes that happens in a tragedy.
Yes.
Right? A tragedy, you're like, how did that happen? When did that happen? Why did that happen? It's odd. So sometimes we have obscure incident. We have things that is not known to many people. Okay? Now let's look at the next word, retain. What does retain mean? To save, to keep, to hold on to. For example, I could say you need to retain or keep your packages that we give out every week. Retain means to keep. Or you need to retain the information. That means you need to remember the information that you're taught every day. That is retain. Now let's look at the next word, salvage. What is salvage?
Destroy.
It has to do with destroy. So salvage is to preserve or to keep things that are being destroyed. So for example, maybe we have a picture of an individual and some of it is missing, but we salvage, we cut out what we can use. here to do what? Teach students. So let's talk about another obscure fact about Teacher Dean. Another obscure fact about Teacher Dean, something that is not known to my students, is that I do what? I go to a Pentecostal church. Many people would know that unless I say that, okay? I go to a Pentecostal church, not known, because again, in a classroom, we're here to teach, right? So let's talk about something that nobody knows about you. One thing that nobody knows about you. One obscure, so it can be very positive. Not well known, so we can talk about that. Now, when you're ready, you're free to share. Now, it is important to retain your vocabulary notes. That's the word, retain. So retain says it is important to keep it. And how are you going to keep your notes? You can keep it on the paper, and you can also keep it in your brain. Retain. So it is important for you to retain your vocabulary notes. Now let's look at the word salvage. I like to salvage things. So, for example, I like to salvage photographs. I like to keep old photographs and I put them in an album, and I may create something, a collage. People like to do that. Some people have many things that they like to collect. I like to salvage old books, right? I maybe want to recover the book so that it has a new cover, but I like to salvage. So cut out what is good and keep what is, cut out what is good and throw away what is bad. So that is the word salvage. Now, let's talk about sentences that we can create out of our brains. So, we can create some sentences using the words cherish, flexible, obscure, retain, and salvage. So, let's talk about the word cherish. Tell me something you would like to cherish or you like to cherish.
I like to cherish my hair.
I like to cherish my hair. How do you keep memories of your hair, though? Think about something else. I like to cherish the memories of something.
I like to cherish the memories of my grandmother.
Yes, my grandmother. Very good. What about you, sweetheart?
I like to cherish the memory of my children.
The memories of my children. Very good. So cherish is something that you want to love. Now let's talk about the word flexible. Flexible. Tell me a time when you go somewhere and you that you can tell me that about you? Come on in. Tell me something that's obscure. Not known. Is there a hobby? Do you like to do something like sewing? You like to do something like reading? Like cooking? Tell me something that nobody knows but you. Your family may know, but your classmates don't know.
One obscure thing about me is that I make handcrafts.
You make handcrafts.
Yes.
Wonderful. So one obscure thing, we would never know she made handcrafts. Now, I can tell you something, is that you can share pictures of your handcraft so other students can see. They have a board for that.
Oh.
Yes, there's a board for that. So people can see that you can make handcraft, that you have a gift, right? You have a hobby, and it could become something that is beneficial to the rest of the school, right? So, like when we had the event on Friday, we could see that there were some things that we did not know about other students. We saw different performances that we never saw because nobody knows, so they were willing to share. Tell me, ma'am, something about obscure that we don't know about you. Something. Beautiful lady.
My personal skill is laundry.
Something odd is laundry?
Because I do that work.
All right. So we were talking about the word obscure, something odd, something different. Tell me about something odd that nobody will know unless you share it. Maybe it's something that you like to do, something that you have done in the past, and everybody's like, I didn't know he could do that. Oh, you want to wait a little later.
Writing.
Writing, one obscure thing not known is that he loves to write. Right? So, write in W-R-I-T-I-N-G. He likes to do writings. So, obscure means odd, not known. Now, let's look at the word retain. Retain. Let's look at the word retain in a sentence. How could we use the word retain? Starting back with you.
It's really important to retain the lesson in my mind.
It's very important to retain the lesson in my mind. Very good. Tell me something about the word retain.
It's very important to remember
Retain. Remember what?
things you last 3 years ago.
Retain things you did 3 years ago. So it's very important for you to retain the memories you had 3 years ago. All right, my friend, tell me something about the word retain.
It's the obligation for a teacher to retain a name of student or the
Name of the students. It is required, or is an obligation, you're trying to say, for teachers to remember or retain the names of the students. So, let's talk about the word salvage. Salvage. So, let's say you did a handcraft, right? And something happened to it, it got a stain. Do you salvage it? No, you throw it away? The handcraft. You say you do handcraft.
Okay.
What is the name of the handcraft that you do?
Macrame. Macrame with thread.
Thread.
Yeah.
So you sew,
No.
crochet,
Crochet.
Not crochet.
not crochet.
Tricot.
Macrame.
Tricot.
What's macrame?
Well, let me show you.
Tricot, right?
No, back at the
Okay, so macrame is a new word for teacher.
I don't know.
Macrame.
Show me
I don't know what's in macrame.
You don't know what is macrame either.
No.
In English.
I know kosher and
I know macrame,
Macrame is
and
on.
I know macrame, but I don't
You
know
use cord.
when.
You use cord. knowledge. So go ahead and take 5 to 10 minutes and let's work on that. Thank you.